The 10 most offensive board games ever published. Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride has won dozens of awards and sold over 6 million copies since its creation. It is the most popular modern board game as it takes players on a train ride across the country while they collect cards of various types of trains which allow them to own railway routes between different locations. Dominion. Dominion is a newer board game which has grown to fame in the last 10 years. Since its release, a huge number of expansion packs have been released, making the game bigger and bigger. The original game can be played by up to 4 players and focuses on deck building. Clue. Cluedo in some places, is the #1 classic detective game which requires the solving of a crime. There is one murder with 6 suspects. The aim of the game is to determine who the murderer is, what weapon they used and what room the crime was committed in. Battleship. Battleship is a classic Hasbro game which requires some luck and some strategy. It is a naval-themed game which requires a player to sink all of their opponent's battleships before they get to yours. The game is played on a 10x10 grid and starts with players positioning a number of different shaped and sized ships on said grid. Scrabble. Scrabble was a game invented by Alfred Mosher Butts during the 1930s, the time of America's Great Depression. Little did Butts know that his game would be a life changer for many and would bring smiles to families who had little left to smile about. The game is simple but requires a lot of thinking. The Settlers of Catan. The Settlers of Catan puts players back in history to a time of voyages and discovery. Your ships have landed on the coast of uncharted territory and its name will be Catan. The aim of the game is to take over the island of Catan, although there are no fights or eliminations of other players. Risk. Created in 1957 by Frenchman, Albert Lamarissa, it was originally titled La Conquête du Monde, which translates to the conquest of the world. Parker Brothers then brought the game to the US and retitled it to a more appealing sounding Risk. The aim of the game, however, has always remained the same, to strategically eliminate your competitors and earn control of the board's entire territory. Monopoly. Monopoly is one of the most popular games in the world. I'm sure almost all of you have played it at least once or twice, or at the very least have heard of it. Since its creation in 1935, more than 250 million versions of the game have been purchased and played by more than 1 billion people. Stratego. Stratego is a game where 2 opponents use pieces of opposing colors, typically red and blue. Each piece has a number rank on one side which is played face down, so they are unknown. When a piece is moved to an opponent's square, the pieces are flipped, revealing the numbers, and the piece with the smaller number is eliminated from the game. Chess. Chess is one of the oldest and most played board games in history. Played by 2 people on a checkered board of contrasting colors and corresponding pieces. The pieces consist of a king and queen, 2 bishops, knights and rooks from the Persian word for a castle tower, and 8 pawns.